Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the top 15 Game Gear games. These are the games that define the Game Gear's legacy, and I'm sure you'll find something you like. So, if you're a fan of the Game Gear and its library of titles, make sure you stick around to see what made the list. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest gaming news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Game Gear is a classic side-scrolling platformer game released in 1991. The game features the same fast-paced gameplay as the original Sonic the Hedgehog, with some unique elements such as an exclusive bonus level, a secret area, and a special bonus stage. Players can also collect rings and power-ups to increase their score, as well as use the special spin dash move to accelerate Sonic's speed. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Game Gear is a classic 2D platformer featuring Sonic and Tails. It features all the levels from the original Sega Genesis version, as well as some exclusive levels. Unique to this version are new power-ups, such as the Bubble Shield and the Rocket Shoes, and a new bonus stage. The game also features a password system which allows players to save their progress and continue from where they left off. Sonic Chaos. Sonic Chaos is a side-scrolling platformer game released for the Sega Game Gear in 1993. It is the third game in the Sonic the Hedgehog series and features Sonic and Tails as playable characters. The game consists of 8 levels, each with its own unique environment. Unique elements of the game include a time limit for each level, a 2-player mode, and the ability to switch between Sonic and Tails at any time. Sonic Triple Trouble. Sonic Triple Trouble is a classic 2D side-scrolling platformer game released for the Sega Game Gear in 1994. It is the fourth title in the Sonic the Hedgehog series and follows Sonic and Tails as they attempt to stop Dr. Robotnik from stealing the Chaos Emeralds. The game features unique levels, enemies and bosses, as well as a new power-up called the Turbo Spin Dash. Additionally, the game features a 2-player mode where players can compete against each other in a race to the finish. Sonic Drift 2. Sonic Drift 2 is a racing game for the Sega Game Gear, released in 1995. It is the sequel to Sonic Drift, and features a variety of characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. The game has a unique drifting mechanic, as well as a variety of power-ups that can be used to give the player an advantage. Additionally, the game has a variety of tracks and modes, including a Grand Prix mode and a time attack mode. Columns. Columns is a puzzle game developed and published by Sega for the Sega Game Gear. The game is similar to Tetris, in which players must stack falling blocks called gems in order to create lines and make them disappear. In columns, the gems come in 3 different colors, and players can rotate them as they fall in order to fit them together more efficiently. The game features multiple modes, including a 2-player mode in which players can compete against each other. Overall, Columns is a classic puzzle game that is easy to pick up but difficult to master, making it a great choice for players of all skill levels. Baku Baku Animal. Baku Baku Animal is a puzzle game released for the Sega Saturn in 1996. It is a tile-matching game where players match animals with their food. The game features a unique 3-dimensional board, which allows for more strategic play. The game also features a time-based mode, where players must complete the puzzle within a certain time limit. Additionally, there is a 2-player versus mode, where players compete against each other to complete the puzzle. Dragon Crystal. The Sega Game Gear was a handheld console released in 1990. It was designed to compete with Nintendo's Game Boy. It featured a backlit color screen, which was a unique feature at the time. It was also the first console to feature a rechargeable battery pack. The Sega Game Gear version of Dragon Crystal featured a unique turn-based battle system, where the player could choose from a variety of attacks and spells to defeat their enemies. It also featured a password system that allowed players to save their progress and continue their adventure. World Series Baseball. World Series Baseball is a baseball video game developed by Sega and released for the Sega Genesis in 1994. It features realistic graphics and detailed gameplay, including a full-season mode, a home run derby, and a create-a-player mode. The game also features an innovative power-up system, which allows players to customize their player's performance by assigning different power-ups to them. This gives the game an extra layer of depth and strategy, allowing players to customize their team to suit their own playstyle. Shinobi. The Sega Game Gear was a handheld console released by Sega in 1990. It was a successor to the Sega Master System and was designed to compete with Nintendo's Game Boy. The Game Gear was the first full-color handheld console and featured a backlit screen, allowing for better visibility in low-light conditions. It also had a unique feature called the Master Gear Converter which allowed it to play Master System games. Vectorman. Vectorman for the Sega Game Gear is a side-scrolling platformer game released in 1995. The game follows the titular character Vectorman, a robotic warrior who must battle against a robotic army to save the world. The game features colorful graphics, fast-paced action, and a variety of levels. Unique to this version of the game is the ability to switch between two different forms of Vectorman, allowing for different strategies and abilities. Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes for the Sega Game Gear is an action platformer that follows the same storyline as the Genesis version. The game features the same characters, levels, and enemies as the original, but with a few tweaks to fit the smaller screen. The game supports two-player co-op and has exclusive levels not found in the Genesis version. Additionally, some of the levels have been rearranged to make the game more challenging. Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown for the Sega Game Gear is a classic 2D fighting game released in 1995. It features the same characters and storyline as the original Samurai Showdown, but with some unique elements. The graphics are much more simplified than the original and the game utilizes a unique tapping system, where players must tap the buttons in a specific order to perform special moves. The game also features a special power-up system, which allows players to increase their character's strength and abilities. Alien Syndrome. Alien Syndrome is a top-down shooter game for the Sega Game Gear. The game features fast-paced action as players take control of a space marine and battle aliens to rescue hostages. Unique elements include the ability to pick up and use various weapons and items, as well as the ability to play with a friend in two-player mode. The Ooze. The Ooze Game Gear is a special version of the Sega Game Gear, released in Japan in 1994. It has a unique green and black design, and comes with a special Ooze Master cartridge, which allows for two-player simultaneous play. It also has a built-in battery and a larger screen than the original Game Gear. The Ooze Game Gear also features enhanced graphics and sound, as well as a unique Ooze mode which allows players to manipulate objects in the game.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot to me and helps me create even more content for you to enjoy. Thanks again for watching.